All right, hey folks. So today is October 28th at the time of this recording, and basically, I just want to talk about something kind of like, non-essential, pointless, stupid, silly. Uh, because current events is pretty dismal, and yeah. In any case, so yeah, as you can tell by the title, I'm gonna be talking about a video game that will be Double Dragon Revive, which came out last week. All right, so I wanted to give it some time before I start talking about this game because just want to make sure I play as much of it as possible, before I make comments on it, right? So basically, um, I don't know. I'm just well, right off the bat, I just want to say I really wanted to like this game so bad. I really, really wanted to like this game so bad, but I just, God, man, I tell you what, it's just so, it's just, all right, so where to begin? So basically, yeah, so as y'all may or may not know, I'm kind of like up there in age, right? So I grew up with the Double Dragon franchise. Basically back in the days when I used to live in New York, me and my cousins. I mean, basically we played the OG Double Dragon in arcades. And of course, like it was like dope. We all love that. We all love that game so much, and all the other Double Dragon games. I mean, Super Double Dragon, I think, was like the next best evolution in the Double Dragon series. But those who don't know, basically Technos, who owns the IP of Double Dragon and other fun series, basically they started going bankrupt, and then they had to they basically allow people to use their IP for other things, projects, like that goofy cartoon. Oh my god, that was just horrible, and goofy spin-offs and games because of that cartoon. Basically, they teamed up with the Battletoads, which is like, what the hell? And, oh god, oh, that movie too. Oh my god. With Mark Descostos. I forgot. I can't pronounce the last name. I don't know. I should have the name up here before. But this is how I roll. I just kind of like just say, this is just shooting from the hip here. So nothing written up, and this is all basically just on my mind right now. So everything I'm talking about. So yeah, Mark Costco, something like that, and the other guy, Mark, I think it was Mark too. I forgot what's his last name, but he was in Party of Five. I forgot what's his name, but y'all know anyway. But yeah, that movie was god awful. Holy shit. So anyway, I was very depressed when Technos went out of business and they went bankrupt, and it just kind of fizzled out. Super Double Dragon, I thought, was like a really damn good evolution of the Double Dragon series. Muneki Ebenuma basically took the reins from oh god, what's his name? Yoshihisa Kishimoto. I'm gonna call him Kishimoto and Ebenuma. So I thought Ebenuma did a great job because holy shit, the gameplay to Super Double Dragon was great. I think that was like, again, the best next step to the evolution of Super Double Dragon. But they rushed the project. I don't know why. There was a lot more features to it, but they rushed it. I don't know why. So anyway, it's been many years. Double Dragon Advance came out. Basically, Atlas got the rights to the IP. So Ebenuma worked on Double Dragon Advance. That was pretty damn good too. But then it just after that it just disappeared again. So now when I found out that Arc System Works, known for Guilty Gear and the Blaze Blue series, I played some of the earlier Guilty Gear, like the way earlier ones, and I do have one of the Blaze Blue games on the Xbox 360. And I mean, come on. I was like, when I heard that Arc System Works got their hands on the IP, I'm like, yes, this is a great company that's gonna do the Double Dragon series justice. Alas, oh my god, you don't know how disappointed I am. All right, so basically, the newest Double Dragon game, not counting Double Dragon 4. All right, so basically they got Kishimoto to do Double Dragon 4, but that was more like a callback because it's a 8-bit the 8-bit style, like on the Nintendo or whatnot. Honestly, I haven't really played through that game much, so I just kind of like I have it, but I haven't played through much of it because It's just it just wasn't really, I wasn't really feeling it so at the time. So plus like time constraints, because again I am a older individual who basically needs to spend more time on more important stuff than to play video games. It does help to distract things, especially when living in the middle of nowhere, New Jersey, and commuting to New York is a pain in the ass. So anyway, so yeah, then the next game that came out was Double Dragon Gaiden, and they outsourced that game to another company. I think it's Modus, and I mean, it's cute, it's charming, but it's not what I was looking for in a Double Dragon game. Now I know there's Double Dragon Neon that came out before Arc System Works bought the IP, but that game was just way too goofy for my taste, man. I know some people enjoy goofy games, and some people might call me like a grim, dark, whatever edge lord because I want a darker atmosphere. And it's just but like the original Double Dragon was it was a serious game, so it's kind of like they're doing this over the top '80s retro, and then like the last boss was just it was just so goofy. I was just like I was not a fan of it. The whole thing. I'm pretty sure it plays well. I haven't played it, but like I said, I was just turned off by it. So then, I found out again, Double Dragon Revive was around the corner. I found out kind of late, and I was so excited because when I saw the artwork, I was like, oh yes, this is gonna be a serious tone Double Dragon. I'm hoping to God that this is going to revive the series as per the title. And after playing it for some time, I regrettably say that this is not going to revive the series. Well, basically, now mind you, this is based on the fact that I got up to chapter 8. And I got up to... Oh, by the way, before I begin, I'm probably going to put it in the title anyway, but this is going to be spoilers here. So if you have not played a game, you've been warned. So basically, I played the game up to chapter 8, and I got up to Willie, and basically, I'm playing on normal, and I'm having a hard time beating him right now. Basically, they just throw all these enemies at you with Willie, and they got these like stupid like traps that shoots out like these skulls that shoot out like laser beams and stuff. Oh boy, yeah, there's a lot of things I'm gonna unload about Double Dragon Revive. Well, before I get to that point, so yeah, I tried out all the characters: Billy, Jimmy, Marion, and Renzo. Marion and Renzo are the two characters that you can unlock, and basically, so I tried them out. I didn't like run through the whole game with them, but I tried them out in various sections. Jimmy was my first was my first character that I used for the playthrough, and I probably should have used Billy instead. But yeah, I don't know. But like, let me get back to the beginning. But basically, when I found out this game was coming out, I got really excited, right? So, and basically, but then I found out that it wasn't Arc System Works who was developing the game. It was basically Ukes. And oh boy, when I saw that, I was like, oh god, no. Basically, I had two experiences with Ukes, the game company. Back in the late 1990s, they released a game known as Evil Zone on the PlayStation. Now, in the commercials, it looked dope. It was an anime type fighting game, and so I mean, like, it looked dope in the commercials because basically, yeah, they showed this like martial artist who like replicate herself into four copies, and she was like comboing this one dude, and it was just like it was crazy, right? And I was like, yo, I gotta get my hands on that game, right? Yeah, that's my first experience with Ukes, and all I'm gonna say is this: basically, normally, even if I hate games, I don't sell them because obviously you don't get much for the resale and whatnot. I sold that game after I was done. Basically, I beat it inside out. The game itself was corny. I know they probably purposely made it over the top because of all these like anime tropes and stuff. Because you see it, like they have this guy like he's like a Power Rangers guy. Dan Ziver or something like that. If I remember, I'm just going this by my off my head and stuff. And it's like a lot of these anime tropes, like the schoolgirl wielding a sword, and she has like psychic powers and all this crazy stuff. Like there was a guy that was like a Guts ripoff. Guts from Berserk. He was a ripoff of Guts from Berserk and whatnot, but he was like a futuristic version. Oh my god, this game was just corny as hell. And I know it's probably made to be cheesy and over the top, but yeah. But regardless, that game played clunky. Like how you get the people in the supers was kind of weird. Like you have to like get them trapped in a circle, energy circle, and then you could do your supers. And it was just like really. I don't want to. I don't want nothing to do with this game. And this is coming from a guy, and I know this is gonna be a triggering for some people. I did not like Final Fantasy VIII, but I still kept it. I beat it once, and that's it. I still have it somewhere collecting dust. I didn't bother selling it, and but I still kept it. But that game I just didn't want it in my possession. It was just like bad. Oh my god. I Then later on down the line, basically, I had a friend at the time in college, and they were playing the Berserk game on the Dreamcast. That was made by that was again made by Ukes, and basically, oh my god, like, I didn't play the game, but it looked clunky as hell, and the voice acting was just god awful. Like the elf named Puck, basically he kept on romanizing Guts' name to like like when Guts pronounces when the Japanese anime, like when they pronounce his Guts' name, they call him Gutsu or something like that, right? But the voice acting for Puck was so god awful, right? Like Gatsu. Like they're talking in English, they call it Gatsu. Like why are you calling him the romanized version? I know this is like the localization, but it just got on my it was just like the localization, which Ukes probably did not have a hand in, but. Holy shit, that was just god awful. It was like making my ears bleed. That alone, just the voice acting alone, just made me but again, the gameplay looks clunky, and I don't know what is it with Ukes and clunky gameplay, but if the gameplay is bad, this is gonna affect the game so bad. And that is what I experienced while playing with Billy and Jimmy. Basically, their controls, their gameplay, their characters are everything about clunky. Oh my god. And back in the day, when I played beat 'em ups, Double Dragon was the granddaddy of all beat 'em ups, right? It started everything, the Streets of Rage series and whatnot. Streets of Rage, I got in late because I didn't own a Genesis. I played it down the line. It was no Double Dragon, but it had its own charm, and the music was like popping and stuff, right? So, but I gave it props, but it was no Double Dragon to me. I always loved the Double Dragon series over the Streets of Rage series. Now, funny thing is that I played Streets of Rage 4. I own it. I love that game to death, and honestly, it blows this out the water. Unfortunately, like this is the only time where it goes around. This game was just, I don't know, everything about this, like the gameplay. Again, going back to the gameplay, it was so clunky. Like it was like you have one button to attack, and you do these combos. One button does this special where, like for Billy and Jimmy, is like a hurricane kick type of thing. Why couldn't they make that different for them? And then there's another button where it's basically like what is it? The special, and then like basically they do another attack. At least they made like basically for Billy, he does like a kick, and Jimmy does like a cross, and basically it just knocks the opponent like kind of into the background, or knocks them like because they have this gimmick where you could knock them into like the background environments, and they could get stuck in it like a trash can or stuff like that. It's just. And and they try to do like a whole 3D game and whatnot. Like, okay, so it just didn't work. It just the controls it just didn't work. I actually had more fun playing as Marion and Renzo. I didn't really play them fully, but they seem more smoother. Basically, playing those two characters is like driving a sports car, while playing as Billy and Jimmy is like driving a fucking bulldozer. It's like, or a boat. It's just awful. And those are the two main characters. Like, what in the hell? And like the Oh my god. This is gonna be a long rant. All right, so I'm probably gonna put that in the title too. But basically, how they play, like the gameplay, right? It's like another one of the problems with the gameplay is that basically, when you get like a baseball bat, and basically when you swing it, like you could click the button again, right? So you would think like basically if you click it again during the action, uh, it's not going to show up until until you press it again until the action is done, right? Nope. It will literally, you press it twice and you don't have to do anything. And so once the first animation cycles through with them swinging the baseball bat, they'll swing it again. So I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Because I tried playing the bonus game afterwards, and like the first one, and it was just so frustrating. Like I just like, because like, you could go start, you have to be precise with the controls. You have to be precise. You can't just start pushing buttons like randomly. You can't. It's like you will get punished for that, right? And then some of the moves just seems like it doesn't like connect. And some of the moves like the stomping, like after your opponent is down, it's so finicky. The controls are so finicky. Again, I don't know what is it with Ukes and control issues, and it's a clunky gameplay, but it's just so I Now don't get me wrong, I had fun with this game, and I still do. I mean, like basically, but I just like I don't know, man. And like the designs, like okay, I know they try to make it contemporary, which I don't mind the design too much, but it's like I don't know, man. I mean, they could have made it look a little more post-apocalyptic, I guess. I don't know, but it's like set 15 years after apocalypse. But I mean, the design itself is just kind of weird. Like even the logo here, right here, double dragon. This looks like somebody just took 5 minutes on Photoshop and just like, okay, here we go, logo's done. What happened to the iconic double dragon logo, the two-headed dragon? Like what happened to that? Like why? This is like it's very generic, and that's what a lot of people were complaining about when they first saw it. It's like this game looks generic. There were some people who were saying like it looks like something like someone who was in video game design school, like they released as a project, and I can see why. You know, Another gripe: the plot. Yes, I know it's a fighting game. Why you complain about plot? Well, I mean, come on, you still have to have a decent plot for a game, right? So again, spoilers, just in case I already mentioned this before, but basically in the beginning, right? So basically, Billy and Jimmy, they try to find Marion. All of a sudden, apparently Marion owns a bar or something, right? And then all of a sudden, this kid pops out of nowhere, telling them that Marion got kidnapped. Who the hell is this kid? Like what the fuck? You don't see this kid ever again after that in the game, right? Like no, it's like an unimportant kid. Like basically, he's just there to tell you what's going on. And then down the line, there's this character you run into named Marcus. Who the hell is Marcus? Like, basically, so apparently he's another good guy, right? But the thing is that you fight him as a boss. But the thing is that the enemies don't attack Marcus. They're going after Billy and Jimmy. The enemies are like, now Marcus will attack the enemies too, but like, I mean, who the hell is he? He just came out of nowhere. This dude just like sitting in the subway, and then like he just gets up and encounters you. Then all of a sudden, it transforms into this weird dragon human hybrid thing, with mystical magical powers. Like, what the fuck? What the hell? I mean, and then you don't see him ever again. So basically, like, why do you fight Renzo as a mid boss in that game, in the Chinatown level, so to speak, right? And then this guy just shows up. Like, like you could either Renzo could have replaced that guy, replaced Marcus as the boss of the subway level, and then you beat him and then unlock him, or you have this guy, or you beat Marcus and then unlock him as another special character. Like I don't get it, and flesh out his story. Like that's it. Magical dude who transformed into a fucking dragon human hybrid, and that's it. He just disappears off the face of the fucking earth. And I know you can get backstory for him by playing the extra games, but oh my god, the extra games are horrible. I only played the first one, and I couldn't unlock it because I had to retry. Just unlock like Bobo's, like backstory. Bobo's being like the first mid boss. Those the extra games are supposed to like create like replay value. Again, the horrible clunky gameplay is just awful. You know, I mean, and then like go back to gameplay. Oh my god. So yeah, I mean, it's just like okay. So at one point in the game, right before you go to the final stage, right? I mean, it's just like they just some of the difficulty that they create just seems so like screwy. Like in the skyscraper stage, right? Right before you go to the final stage, right before you fight the boss of that level, and that's I'm gonna get to. That's another fucking issue. You have these idiots throwing dynamite like like you know they're constantly throwing dynamite, and the thing is like you're constantly taking damage from the dynamite, but not the enemies. You know, and then like basically you can't even like run to avoid it because your run seems slow too. Like I don't get it. And if you use the control stick, you can make your character walk, but there's no reason to walk because they walk painfully slow and the run is slow. So it's just like you can't even avoid those attacks, you know. And then meanwhile, like you have like a burn off and some other schmucks there, like basically just like laying it into you while you're being set on fire from the constant barrage of like dynamite sticks that these guys are throwing. It's so damn annoying. And then you know, I mean, and there's like a platforming which seems very odd to be placed in there. Like basically, why is there like an American Ninja type stage in the middle of a fucking casino for Linda's stage? Like that I and you know, I mean like platforming in a 3D game, right? Because like I mean, oh my god, I was like, why did they think that was a good idea? It's just like it was just shoehorned him because basically they were saying like, oh hey yeah, I mean you know there's like platforming in the original you know Double Dragon, so let's just throw it in here. It's like it doesn't make any sense. I know it's a beat 'em up. Why you? Cause it's and then like then going back to like the skyscraper stage, the boss of that stage. This is the most screwed up thing. They just send you all these enemies. Basically, you're fighting the four previous bosses all at the same time in the skyscraper stage, right? And then on top of that, they're all attacking you at the same time. And meanwhile, they're sending out goons after you. They're sending out these other enemies after you too. So basically, the tip of the game, because after like getting my ass handed to me numerous times at that stage, the tip was, oh well, you know the stage is electrified, or the fence is electrified, so you have to grab these people and start throwing them. So you can't even really like stand there and start like duking it out with all of them. It's basically it just became a game of me grabbing and throwing people right into the electric fence. Like, what the hell? Oh my god! And then, like I told you before, when I fought Willie, I mean, they just throw all these enemies at you. And then you have to deal with the laser traps, and it was just like insane. I mean, I'm like, you know. And then, excuse me, my throat's getting dry from all this yelling and getting angry and whatnot. Okay, gotta take a little drink there. But then basically, good God, you know, I mean, it was just this whole game was just poorly executed. It was just poorly executed. You know, I mean, like, and there were a lot of like commentary about like from I keep on screwing up his name, Kishimoto, right? Kishimoto and Ebenuma were not involved in the game. I mean, I'm like, why were they not involved in the game? You know, I mean, I would think that you would try to get them involved. After at least, like, you know, throw in the commentary. You know, I mean, like, you don't have any of those guys. At least have Ebenuma in there, you know? But it's just like, I don't know why Arc System Works gave this to Ukes. I really, of all company, I don't know why they gave it to Ukes. I really don't understand that. I mean, when I thought, I mean, Arc System Works, you know, they're known for fighting games, but you would think, like, maybe they would be able to do that, like, translate it well, like, fighting game, you know, like, not as a fighting, not turning this into a fighting game, but I'm just saying, you know, as a beat 'em up, you might be able to do something like that, right? That's why I was so happy when Arc System Works got the IP, but they just outsourced the game to other companies and like fucking Ukes. Oh my god. The one saving grace to this game, and I have to admit, is the fucking music. The music is dope. This shit was popping. All right, the music was popping. I think it was done by James Landino. Basically, the remix of the original tracks were like phenomenal. They were fantastic. I thought they did it well. It's like basically like a dance track and whatnot. I love the third stage, Williams stage. Basically the music there. I mean, it was just dope. And then they have like a lot of like house type music. Basically for the subway stage, and then basically for Linda stage, the casino really worked well with the disco type music. I mean, basically, the soundtrack. I would say I'll give out a 10 out of 10. The soundtrack is like the soundtrack was great. Um, but I mean, otherwise, I mean, I, I mean, I did have fun with it to a certain point, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, man. The design, I'm not, I don't mind. I know they try to make it more contemporary because, understandable. I don't mind the design. Maybe the hair is a little too, like, pretty boyish, but, I mean, I don't know. The plot was like, oh yeah, another thing about the plot, the dragon vein thing that nothing really get into. Like, how did they harness the energy of the Sosetsuken, which is based off the dragon vein, and basically they turn these people into like green skinned. I don't know what the hell. This game, the gameplay needed a lot of reworking, a great amount of reworking. The game the plot needs a lot of reworking. And another thing that bugs me out is that basically Double Dragon always took place in New York City. It always took place in New York City, except for Super Double Dragon, which I think took place it starts in Las Vegas, right, with the casino. I imagine it's more in the West Coast, which is kind of weird, but whatever. But generally speaking, it took place in New York City. This one, all of a sudden, they say, "Oh, they're in Neon City." Like, what the hell? I remember in Double Dragon Advance, if you beat the bosses, you see the backdrop. Basically, you can tell there are backdrops of like various places in New York City. Like, I remember vividly where you beat the samurai boss. You see a backdrop of Chinatown, like the New York City's Chinatown in the backdrop. I know because it's burned into my mind. But this game all of a sudden took place in Neon City. I don't know why they didn't say New York City, and But basically, like, if you look at the subway stage level, I mean, that's clearly based off of a New York City subway platform. And, I mean, but they call it Neon City. I don't know why. That's a minor gripe. But, but overall, yeah, the gameplay is clunky as hell, very janky. Hitboxes is kind of weird. 3D just, I don't know what they're trying to go over the 3D. The plot's all over the place. The music is the only saving grace. 10 out of 10. I mean, and don't get me started on the so-called replayable value of the extra games. Those were just clunky as hell because again the controls are so clunky. The gameplay was clunky, and if you don't have good gameplay, it's not worth it. I mean, Streets of Rage 4. Honestly, the main four characters, with the exception of Cherry Hunter, they were slow. I was surprised at how slow Blaze was, but when you get the DLC characters, I mean, the games. I mean, Shiva's like really fun to play with. Everybody else is more fun to play with, But the game works though. The beat 'em up, the 2D, the graphic, the design is beautiful with the hand art drawings, and I mean, you could tell that a lot of love was put into Streets of Rage 4. That was like beautiful. And then like the Mr. X Nightmare extra really added a new layer of replayability. Like, I could kill 1 hour, no problem, just playing as Shiva over and over and over and over again. It is just fun. Like, I just enjoy myself. And even though it gets difficult, I'm not like getting ready to throw my controller to the ground. Like, I will I mean, obviously I never got far. The highest I got to was like level 40. in the Mr. X's Nightmare on Streets of Rage 4, like the 40-ish. But you know, and obviously it gets harder. But you know, it doesn't frustrate me to the point where it's like I don't want to play this anymore. The game the extra game in here, it's frustrating. Again, because of the clunky gameplay. You know what? If they're gonna, if Arc System Works is gonna take another attempt to make another Double Dragon game, I really hope they don't give it to Ukes. I'm sorry, Ukes no. They just, mind you, when I played Evil Zone back then, that was in the late '90s, 1999, I think it was released, and it's just like seems like the same developers. They haven't learned anything new. It was just like the gameplay, and it's. I know you talk about a fighting game to beat 'em up, but it's just. It's not working. What they're doing is not working. Everything, just about most of this game is just, you know, like I said, I did have fun to a certain extent, but it's just, the gameplay was just so frustrating. The only thing, again, the only thing that really worked was the music. The music was fire. That shit was off the hook. The music was off the hook. Now, I don't normally give games ratings on this, like a number rating, but, you know, like, to be honest, and I think I'm being really generous here because if I were to rate games on basically, it would be like a full number, like from like 0 out of 10. Basically, I'll give it like a 0.5 in between a number, and that's it. I'm not gonna give it like a 0.9 or a 0.3. But I will give this thing, and I think I'm being really generous, really generous. I'm gonna give it like I'll hesitantly give it a 7.0, a hesitant 7.0. More tempted to give it a 6.5. I really wanted to like this game because it's supposed to be the new Double Dragon that's supposed to revive the franchise. A hesitant 7.0, very hesitant. I did have fun at certain points in the game, but it just got. The gameplay was just the controls. The gameplay was just not working for me. And if you can't get the gameplay down, and you know, basically, you know, essentially you're making the game unplayable. You know, and I think, like I said, I just personally think the gameplay was just very clunky. Streets of Rage 4 blows Double Dragon Revive out the water. You know, I used to be a Double Dragon purist back in the day. Thought that, you know, I prefer that over Streets of Rage. Now it's vice versa. Streets of Rage 4 was made with love. This was made haphazardly, in my opinion. If Arc System Works is listening, please stop using Ukes. Please. I don't think you'll be watching this video, but, you know, I really wanted to like this a lot. I really did. I really wanted to like this game more than I could, but I can't. I just can't. This game should honestly be like $30. I know I got it pre-ordered for $35. $30 or $25. Don't pay more for this game. It's just not. You know, I'm gonna go click at it some more. You know, obviously I'm gonna try to beat it and whatnot, but not a fan of Ukes. This has not. This has not made me redeem Ukes in my eyes any way, shape, or form, which is pretty bad. Anyway, let me go end this. This is a long rant. Y'all have a good one. Good luck. God bless. Take care as always. Keep it real. Later.